Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Sold Sign Real Estate Unplugged. We are your hosts and favorite realtors, Naya and Lauren, and we're so excited that you all are joining us for another episode. Let's get right into this week's story.
Yeah. All right. So, interest rate shock. I thought I had it all figured out. My partner and I have been watching interest rates closely for the past couple of years, hoping to buy a home when they were at their lowest. Rates in 2020 and 2021 were incredibly low, but we thought, what if they go even lower? So we waited. Fast forward to 2023, and by the time we were actually ready to buy, interest rate had more than doubled. Our budget just didn't go as far as we expected it would. Suddenly, the homes we were looking at were either in areas we weren't thrilled about or needed a ton of work. We eventually found a fixer-upper that seemed manageable, but the reality of a higher monthly payment combined with renovation costs hit us hard. We're stretched financially and have had to put off some of the updates we planned. Looking back, I wish we had acted sooner when rates were low instead of trying to time the market perfectly. We learned that sometimes waiting can cost you more than just money. It can add stress you didn't plan for. It didn't even have to be any longer than that. I'm telling you, like, he nailed it on the head, okay? Like, nailed it.
And that's needed to be said.
No. Because what?
It's going to cost you.
May cost you little, may cost you a lot, but it's going to cost.
Okay? It's always going to cost you something. It's just going to cost you. It's just going to cost you. That's all.
And it depends on if you want it to cost you now or later. Because like he said, 2020 and 2021, like if you didn't jump on those rates lower, how much lower?
How much
3%.
How much lower
did you want? How much lower did you want that you don't get any lower than that? So I know, like we bought in 2020. So Woo. I know that, yeah, it was low at that time. It was like we had to jump on it. But 2023 is when it got a little crazy.
Yeah.
2022, I think it started creeping up. 2023 went crazy, and 2024, here we are. And I know people are not enjoying these rates that are out here, and with the home prices, rising. So,
and I mean, we surely can't go back to 2020. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of us really want to.
Yeah.
And outside of interest rates, but it's like. It's always going to be, it's kind of like it's always going to be what it is.
Yeah.
The market is going to be what it is. And so it's not about, waiting for a certain year or waiting for a certain number for the interest rate, but like, when are your pockets financially ready to purchase? That is always going to be when you should purchase a home. It's never about, I'm going to wait for interest rates to look like this. I'm gonna wait till the chart says this. Can you afford to buy a house now? If the answer is yes, you should buy it now.
Yeah.
Obviously there's always going to be other factors, like are you going to be living in the state? Are you going to be moving for work? Whatever. Outside of all those things, like generally, if you can afford to purchase now and it's a goal of yours, you should just go ahead and take the leap, because waiting can cost you money, front end, back end. And if you're paying rent, we've also seen that rent is just like,
interest
the mortgage
itself.
rates and the
Yeah.
interest rates itself as much as rent increases. So listen, you either pay 100% rent or
With no equity,
or you purchase a home where you can build equity and have a stable payment, and build wealth and options for yourself if that's your goal.
Yeah. And like, what's equity?
Equity.
Yeah. So I feel like some people are like, y'all always talking about equity, y'all always talking about it, but like, what is it? What does it matter? Like, I'm not going to be able to get that money, right away. So what does it matter that I have equity? Like, what is it?
Equity basically is like the gap. So if you purchased a home, let's say for $300,000, I'm just going to throw that flat number out. If you purchase a home for $300,000 and your home value, because time has passed, the neighborhood continues to develop, over time, your home will appreciate generally in value. And so now, let's say if you bought in 2020 and we're now in 2024, you bought at 300,000, your home has increased in value over that time. And so that gap between that 300,000 and what it's worth now is the equity that you built. So let's just say it's worth, I mean, it's some crazy equity out here. I'm like, I could almost say any number. Let's say it's worth, I'm just going to say, let's say it's worth 350,000 now. You have $50,000 in equity because you purchased the home at 300,000, but now the comparable properties, the things that are selling in your neighborhood are all selling, let's say at 350 and, you know, around that number. Then that proves that your home value is likely at that, you know, 350 as well, or more if you've got some, you know, nice upgrades inside. Yeah. But yeah, basically that gap from what you purchased and what the home value is now is the equity that you've built over time. And all you did was live there and pay your mortgage rate and let time and the market and the neighborhood and all those things just pass and develop.
Yeah, and appreciate.
If
you've been paying like your mortgage too, like the
Yes.
you know, when you're paying your mortgage, so that number is decreasing. You paid 300,000 for it, and in 4 years you may have like, I don't know, $285,000 left.
Yep.
So if you can sell it for 350, like look at all that
Right. So that
money you
extra,
have.
right?
Yeah.
From what you started at.
So all that money is just, you know, it's not just sitting there, but it is. It's like, to me, it's like my favorite savings account, where if I need that money, I can pull out a line of credit, knowing that those funds are sitting there, or, you know, knowing we have a son in college and we need to pull some money out. If we need to pull it out, we know that money's sitting there and we can't just spend it. And I love that money is always just there, and it's in the form of a house. The houses are not depreciating, and at least not in the areas that we know we would buy. They're not really going to depreciate, or only going to appreciate. So that's why it's also important of where you purchase. How location is very important as well, to make sure that the neighborhoods that you're buying into are going to appreciate and you don't lose money at the end of it. So that's equity, and y'all need it. I'm not playing, okay? And staying realistic about your budget. Like Naya said, she was spot on. Like, you buy when you are financially ready. So if you are like, oh, I'm paying rent right now, you know, my rent is $3,000. In 2020, it was $2,600. 2021, it was 27, 20, like it has gone up. So now you're paying $3,000 a month in rent, and you have no equity. You may or may not get your security deposit back. And it's like, all right, well, I guess I can afford a house, because you can definitely find something for $3,000 a month. Like, you really can. You just have to connect with the right people, the right realtors, and the right lenders, and see what your money and your budget can get you. And we will never go over your budget. If you're like, hey, I don't want to spend more than $3,000 a month on a home, then we respect that, because we get it. Like, no one wants to be house poor. You want to still be able to live your life, and we want to make sure that we help you get to that end goal. So
Yes.
just stay within your budget and buy when you're ready.
Yes.
The rates don't mean anything. I'm telling you.
I know, it really is something that, like, you gotta learn to let go of, because it's always going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah, and date the rate, marry the home.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That was, we were digging that line into the ground.
Man.
But it's true.
Yeah, because you can tell them what they can do.
If you dating the rate means like, okay, you get this rate now, but you do have the option, if interest rates come down and there is a better one available, you can refinance for a lower rate. Of course, you know, you need to check with your lender and know what the stipulations are, or like, you know, what makes you eligible or to be in good standing to refinance. But that is an option that you can have. So get the home, and then you sit and you wait. And if we have another 2020 year, or just some other significant decrease in interest rates, you may have the opportunity to refinance and, you know, be able to cut back on your mortgage later. So yeah.
Spot on. Like, because they just waiting doesn't help. And were they doing a fixer. Oh, so now
They
they have
realized we don't have fixer upper budget.
right,
now.
but to fix
And
the
we also have
things, to fix the things in the house. So they only have fix. Well, I don't know if they only have like fixer upper budget, but then they don't have the funds to actually fix up the house because they have now paid.
Now their budget was, only allowing for homes that would need a ton of work, and they're like, if they're gonna have a higher payment and renovation costs,
And now
they're
they
not really
can't
feeling
do-
that.
Right. We
Which,
can't really do that.
Yeah, it's like,
that.
I'm paying all this and I still fix it.
All I can afford is a fixer upper, but I mean, it's what happens when you wait, and that's the risk you take when you wait. And some people are like, well, what if it gets better? It can get better, but refinance.
I was gonna say, and
better.
you will have the opportunity to take advantage of when it gets better.
Yeah, and when it does get better, you can also sell.
Yes.
And go buy something, because you can sell when it's low interest rates, because you'll have a lot of buyers out here because the rates are low. You can sell your home, get a lot more money for it, and then go take that money, that equity that you have, go take it and put a down payment on another house. And now you can afford more house because the interest rate is lower. Like, it's just a game of like, you play the game. Like you
play the game.
like you do it. You take control of it. Don't let the interest rates, don't let that control you. Like, you control it, and you decide, okay, this is how I'm going to make this work for me and my family. And
I
that's
love
how
that.
you take that.
I like that. She said, you play the game. You take control. Because, I mean, you still, I love that, because, like, yes, with the interest rates, we don't have control of that, but you can still have control over, your game plan, what you decide, to do as far as investing in a home for, your wealth and your family. And so you play a part. We don't really get to control what the interest rates are, but you still have control over making, a good financial decision and investment for your family. So I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, we're talking a lot about interest rates and, yes, how they have increased and, aren't so favorable after we've seen, how low they had been before. But while we're all looking at interest rates, know that home prices are increasing as well. And, like, historically, they just increase. Like, they just keep creeping up over time. And so, while, yes, the interest rate does obviously impact your mortgage payment and, what your monthly payment is going to be, the sales price of the home and the option that you will have because of the prices of the homes that you may want, like, they're going to continue increasing as well. So it's not just the interest rate. The longer that you wait, you will be looking and facing higher home prices as well. And so the home that you like, or the areas that you like, again, may continue to appreciate. Those values continue to go up. And that's kind of one you can't really get around.
No,
that one too much.
You can. And
once,
if you buy,
once they set.
Yeah, they said. And once you buy into that neighborhood, like, you buy into it, you buy a house in that neighborhood that's appreciating, all you see is like dollar signs, like, yes, my neighbor just sold for $50,000 more than what I bought my house for. Bet I myself, like, you'll start to see it and you'll really start to understand it. And I think sometimes it's hard for people to understand it when they're not in it.
Yeah.
And because it was very hard, I feel like, for me, I think my husband too, maybe, to understand it when we were renting. And then we were like, okay, we don't really care about the equity. But now the house we bought in 2016, I'm like, oh yeah, we're almost 10 years in. And it's
wow.
Yeah, we haven't sold it. It's using,
that's
right?
nice to see, I'm sure.
And we don't say, we see it, like, when we pay it.
You're like, okay, cool.
That's sold for that. And we're like, oh, okay, we can do a little updates and we can get a lot more. But that neighborhood has increased and appreciated so much that we're like, okay, do we just hold on to it and continue to use it as a rental, because our renters are paying our mortgage anyway, plus some. So it's like, why sell? We might
Yeah.
as well just hold on to it, see what we can get for it in a few years, and if we decide to sell it. But right now, the equity is just sitting there, and you can see what your equity is. If you're ever wondering, like, well, how do I know how much I have in my house? You can either reach out to your realtor. We're always willing to tell you. Or if you go on your mortgage servicer, meaning whoever you pay your mortgage through, usually it'll tell you right then, like right in the beginning, like on that front page when you log in, you have this amount of equity left or this amount of equity in your home. You could probably sell for this. And they're basing that off of what other homes have sold in the area. So they're not just like pulling that out of nowhere. They're looking at it and can see, okay, other homes in this area have sold for this. And then most likely they will reach out to a realtor and or appraiser and say, how much would this house appraise for? So I'm telling y'all.
I love that you said it's hard to see because, yeah, it can be. Especially like, yeah, even for people who bought 2020. I'm sure they're seeing.
They saw the they
equity
see
already.
They are seeing
But
it,
like,
for
yeah,
sure.
you know, for new home buyers, like, you know, you might be 1 year in, 2 year in, you're like, all right, you know, wondering what it's gonna look like and be like in 10 years away. And so I'm sure it can be hard to see, but like real estate really is a long game.
Yeah.
So just be in it for
Yeah.
the long run. I wanted to pull up.
Oh yes, I love
Just
when I
something
give us
quick.
the stats. She always come through with the stats.
One of the real estate like resources we love, they provide like really good market insights. Is Keeping Current Matters. And one of the things that they've shared recently is that over the past 5 years, home prices nationally have gone up by nearly 60%. Since 1991, they've gone up by over let me zoom in, over 320%, like nationally, right? So we're
Yes.
looking at all across the country. And this says that's why so many homeowners are happy with their decision. They've built wealth over time as their home value grows. So again, it's, you know, it's a long-term game.
Yeah.
Prices, they just increase. Like they incrementally just increase. And again, for 2025, you know, they are forecasting that home prices are going to continue to rise in 2025. So, you know, as someone looking to buy, be mindful that it's not just about the interest rate, but you may see higher home prices as well. But work with your budget, really see what you can do, because for you, you'll be on the other side and it will be worth it, and you'll get to see how the appreciation and the value that grows over time is really a benefit to you as a home buyer now. So
That's
Just
crazy. That
don't wait.
increase is crazy.
yeah.
That increase is wild.
Yeah.
Like,
I said, let me zoom in, make sure.
make sure I'm reading this right. Because what? And in 2025, so they said 2025 for sure. Like it will
like
be
their
increasing.
home prices are forecasted to continue to rise in 2025. So,
Don't wait. And if I can talk about it really quick. So 2024, we are in 2024. Obviously, the election happened, right? A lot of people seem to have been waiting for the election to happen and to be over to start buying. And we kind of knew this coming into the beginning of 2024, and then also interest rates started rising in 2024 as well. So you had two major things, right? The election and interest rates rising. So a lot of buyers just stopped. Like if they were in the market or they were new to the market in 2024 and they came in, they were like, hey, we're going to buy this year. Once those two things, they realized, and they were talking to whomever, family members, colleagues, coworkers, whatever. They're like, you know what? This person told me to wait, so I'm going to go ahead and wait. And, as a realtor, we're not going to push you. We're just going to say, okay, we can give you the advice. And then, hey, whatever you want to do, So a lot of people did that. As soon as the election was over, y'all, when I tell you that night, buyers started falling from the sky. We got so many calls and we got so busy that it was like, okay, not only were people waiting for the election, but now they actually had a chance to get used to the interest rates that were kind of a shock in the beginning of 2024. And now they're like, now that we're at the end, it's like, all right, the interest rates are what they are. The home prices keep rising, so we might as well just go ahead and buy. And now that the election's over, now we can go ahead and do whatever we need to do. So they are some big things and big decisions, but like Naya said, waiting just I don't think will be in the best.
It's just gonna cost you.
The best is it is gonna cost you. I don't think it will be the best decision. So just do it when you are ready. When you are like, I got the funds, I have the credit, I have the stable job, do it when you're ready, whether it's you doing it by yourself, you doing it with a partner, whatever that may be. It's all about when you are ready, because everybody's situation is different. You talking to your colleague who did this, a few years ago or decided to wait, don't compare yourself to them, because I'm telling you, it's not going to be the same. Y'all don't have the same budget. Y'all don't have the same lender. Y'all don't have the same jobs. Y'all got completely different things going on. So why would it change when it comes to buying a house? So,
yes, I love that. So I know we gave y'all a lot to maybe think about, but it's as simple as purchase when you are ready, and waiting can cost you. So thank you for joining us for another episode, another week. Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel and that you're following us on Instagram. And remember that you can listen to us on any podcast platform of your choosing. We can't wait to see you next week.